Hello everybody, this is Dig here, and I'm bringing you a PvT on Metalopolis. I'm spawning in the lower left corner, and my Terran partner, while the Terran person is spawning in the upper right. We're picking up about 2 minutes into this game. I just want to keep the replay under 15 minutes so I can post it on YouTube. No problem, so it's just one file. So I'll speed it up at various points in it. Just scouting, really nothing's going on. I have a simulator, I have a gateway that's down, and I'm just now putting down a forge. He's driving away my scout. You always want to take control of the Zelnaga watchtowers. So here's the reason I'm bringing the game to you guys. It is because this game we get in a tie situation. I'm not going to tell you how we get into a tie situation, but we do get into a tie situation, and the game should have ended in a tie, but I don't think the Terran player knew that the game should have ended in a tie. You'll see why. I know it's a spoiler, but I think the title gives away that it should have been a tie. So the Terran player is going to be going just heavy Marine, Marauder, and then eventually Medevacs. And what I like to do against Terran, especially if you have a long rush distance, you can see the distance that we have to travel is like clear across the map. And I do have vision of the Zelnaga watchtower, so if he does move out through the center of the map, I'll see it. He is getting a couple Marauders and a Marine, and he's going to be getting concussive shells upgrade, and he should be moving out here relatively soon. I do have warp gates being researched, and I'm also researching armor. So the key to this build, I'll be chrono boosting the crap out of that upgrade, and I'm getting the Twilight Council in order to get this +2 armor upgrade. So what I like to do in far positions is get +2 armor as fast as possible. So I go Mass Zealot, Sentries if I have the gas, and with Charge and +2 armor. And it really just beefs up the Zealots, making them hard to kill. Now, the Terran opponent is very wise and saw that I didn't have a large army in my base, and actually is going to be moving up to attack. And I am supply blocked at the moment, just became unsupply blocked. Warp gates should be finishing soon. So I should be able to handle this no problem. The only problem is he's going to supply block me in a second, and sure enough, he does. I only have about 3 supply to work with. There's not enough to really warp in many units to take care of this small attack force. Meanwhile, the Terran player is getting ahead. He's up to 41 supply. I'm down to 25. Have to pull the probes. The good thing is that Marauders are not very good against probes. That sounds funny, but it's true. Marauders get extra bonus damage to armored units, and a probe is not armored by any stretch of the imagination. And I believe for an unupgraded Marauder, it takes 5 shots to kill a probe. So I'm able to get a surround, and the one Zealot's able to go to work on these Marauders and dispatch them pretty quickly. But the damage has already been done. They have Stim on the way, more Marauders, a starport being built, and I am now down to about 19 harvesters. The Terran player is on 3 barracks, 2 tech labs, and 1 reactor, and me, Dig, the Protoss player, is only on 3 warp gates, which is not good, and 27 food, which is not good. The good news is, as that scan's going down, is that the armor upgrade should be finishing up, and Zealot legs are being researched. So my plan here is just to go almost pure Zealot, get Charge, get +2 upgrade, and just counterattack. There's a over 20 food difference, a 10 harvester advantage. The income is greater for the Terran. The Terran is going to be expanding here shortly, and I have to pull people off gas to continue to mine minerals. So it's not a good situation at all. The one thing, however, is that +2 armor will help out in a fight, especially if the Terran player is going Marauder heavy, which he is. The main problem that I run into when I play Terrans is just the Marine, Marauder, Medevac, Ball. Unless you have Colossus or Storm to deal with it, it's really hard. The Terran player is sending out a factory to scout. The factory is not really used much in this matchup, and so you can use it for cheap scout. That's why he lifted it off. However, he's not going to see my armies going around the side of this map, which is good.
Additional supply depots
my
required.
plan is to use this army to attack, because by now I figure that he expanded. So this build, normally I like to expand behind it. Gives my army a mobile army that's able to do a lot of damage, especially with the warp gates. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to attack his expansion. Does stem. I should have had the sentry up for the Guardian Shield. Being sealed with Zealots, +2 to their armor are hard to kill. Finally, he gets over in this corner, which is not the best angle for my army, but the good news is that he's not microing and pulling away and kiting my units. Due to some damage here, his army's still left alive. I'm warping in 4 more Zealots. They're rallied in. They're going to arrive here just a little bit late. He is going to stem and get away. But, if you can see, as his Marauders just go to work on the Zealots are holding their own. And this is the whole point. Marauder goes down, another one gets wounded, and that Zealot finally dies. So he's down to about 3 Marauders and 1 Marine after that engagement. The problem is he does have an expansion. So I'm throwing down another proxy pylon, and was that like a 30 food advantage for the Terran player. And so pretty much at this point it is an all-in. I have no other contingency plans. I'm just going to be building as pure Zealots, get a healthy number of Zealots, and just go in one last time before my mineral patches run out and die. Just hoping that the sheer numbers will be able to kill the Terran army. So again, the Terran army is moving out across the map. I see it. Engage. He stems. I decide to pull back, which is actually pretty wise. That Zealot still lives, which is good. I decide that I'm like, well, the damage has been done. He stemmed. Let it wear off. Now, if you notice, this drop is going across the bottom of the map as I'm deciding to attack. This was a big mistake, I think, on his part. It allows me to easily dispatch of his army with those 2 extra medevacs there and all those extra units. He probably will hold this off and win the game. However, he's going to drop my main. So we get in this base trade situation right here, and here's where the tie comes in. He has 2 full medevacs coming to my base. He is now down to only 22 harvesters, and that's pretty much the extent of his army. Once you get to the production line of the Terran, they cannot really rally out more units. Dropping in my base and focusing firing down the Nexus, I'm down to only 200 minerals. These Zealots, there's no way they're going to be enough to stop this. Pulling probes, killing his mineral line. Frantically, I'm like, oh no, down to 0 minerals, only gas. He's down 3 Marauders. The fat little Marauders run around, and oh, the Nexus. Oh, my Nexus. This is so sad. The Marauders are down to a couple hit points, taking out the Nexus. No money left to rebuild, and the Terran can lift off. So the Terran has no army either. He's down to 9 supply, but he can lift off his main. He does lift off his main, starts flying away. It is on fire. He lifts off his expansion, flying that away. And at this point, I realize he has no army. I have a sizable army. I have 50 units. Even probes at this point are good. And the only thing that I have to shoot air are these 3 stalkers without blink. So he's going to be able to at least have one of these buildings escape to a corner of the map. He gets this orbital command to escape. At this point, I think the Terran's plan is to win the game, but he could easily fly to this corner, and that's why I say you've got to be kidding, because I just know it's a base trade situation and it should end up in a tie. Alan does decide to land, which is a good attempt to try to win the game, but you should really float at least one building to one of these corners of the map where you can only reach it by air. So I'm scouting everywhere on the map just to make sure that his command centers can't land, which he does have this one land. This one is going to die to the 3 stalkers. It's already on fire. Make sure I kill the command center. And again, if you get in this situation where you snipe the Nexus and it says that your player is being revealed and you still have some buildings that can float as a Terran, float them to a place like this where you need an air unit to hit it. They did built in tie recognition into BattleNet, so that will recognize when people aren't mining bases a tie, and the game will end in a tie. I'm not sure how scoring works, but the game can end in a tie. And once this base got discovered by my probe, the Terran player really should just lift it off and try to hide somewhere instead of trying to win this game. There's no way. He has no fighting units, just a couple of SCVs, and quite frankly, one Zealot could kill all these SCVs. So the Zealots are going to charge in and start cleaning this up. I immediately start focus firing down the only building that can fly, and he GG's. Again, I don't think he realized that he could have just lifted off and would have won the game. So that's it. Thanks for watching.